Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you just joined us here today, we're doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic. I believe this is the 11 in the series for any of you that are feeling any negative thoughts or emotions to do with COVID-19. Maybe you're feeling a little frustrated around the whole issue. Maybe you're feeling some fear around it, maybe some anxiety. Maybe you're dealing with some financial challenges around it. All of these things can cause negative emotions or negative thoughts. And these negative emotions or thoughts can affect you in so many different ways. So if you just joined us here today, welcome to the COVID-19 Minute Clinic. I believe, again, this is the 11th in the series here. We are doing sessions for people today. We're looking for 2 volunteers today to work on in regards to COVID-19. And I'll be doing a few sessions. You'll get to see a little bit of how this works. I'll be using the emotion code today in our deleting of those negative emotions. So if you just joined us, just put in your comment section who you are, where you're from, and welcome to our COVID-19 Minute Clinic here today. Today is the 11th in our series of Minute Clinics, and this is just to demonstrate how the emotion code can help to identify and release any negative emotions or thoughts that you may have to do with COVID-19. And we're going to be doing, hopefully we have 2 volunteers here today as well, and we'll get to work on them. You'll see how this works. And hopefully you'll get something of value out of our Minute Clinic here today. These Minute Clinics have been running Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 a.m. Pacific for the month of May. Starting in June, we will be running minute clinics for chronic pain. So starting in beginning of June, let's have a look at the calendar here. So starting, give me a second here. Yes, I can't remember what that date was here. Yes, we're set up for Monday, June the 1st. So starting on Monday, June the 1st, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we'll be doing, for the month of June, we'll be doing minute clinics for those that are dealing with chronic pain as well. So stay tuned for that. But today we're focused on our COVID-19. So if you're feeling any negative emotions to do with COVID-19, maybe some anxiety around that, maybe some depression, maybe some frustration, maybe there's some shock, maybe there's some worry, maybe even there's some anger or resentment around COVID-19. So if you're having any of those thoughts or feelings, then they can be impacting you, your physical well-being. And not only that, they can impact your relationships, they can impact even your success at this time. So it's important to identify these emotions and release them so you can feel a little happier, a little healthier, a little bit more at ease, maybe a little bit more at peace. So if you just joined us here today, we're doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We've got today's, and I think we have one coming up this Friday as well. And then we'll be focusing on chronic pain for the month of June. So if you just joined us, put your name in here to let us know where you're from. I'm looking for 2 volunteers today that I can work on and demonstrate how the emotion code can help delete these negative emotions or negative thoughts. And this all came about from a program developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson. And Dr. Bradley Nelson is a holistic chiropractor from the States. He was finding that some of his patients that were coming to him with some chronic issues, and he wasn't able to really help them solve their issues as well as he wanted. So he started to do some research, and through prayer and through lots of research, he started to realize that, hey, maybe there's some other energies or things that are affecting that person's lower back or their shoulder, whatever we're working on. Why is it not getting better? So when he started to research, he started to realize the emotional component to chronic pain, to health issues, to relationship. And so he wrote the book called The Emotion Code. This is available on Amazon. So I highly recommend you to go out to order this book. It's a great read. It's an easy read. There's lots of great stories on how this has helped people. It explains how it works, more or less. And it also teaches you how you can do it for yourself as well. And so again, how to release your trapped emotions for abundant health, love, and happiness. And in this particular book, there's a foreword by Tony Robbins. Some of you may know Tony Robbins. He's very well known in the personal development and growth field. And he highly recommends his work, as well as Greg Braden. Some of you may know of Greg Braden. He's an author, a former, I think, NASA scientist as well. So there's a lot of support for the emotion code work all over the world. There's probably well over 1,000 practitioners now all over the world that do this work. So it's a great read. I got the book in 2007 as soon as it came out, because I knew Dr. Nelson before he wrote the book. And I just started reading the book, and because I'd already been familiar with muscle testing or applied kinesiology, I just started reading the book, and I started working on myself before I even finished the book. And by the time I was done the book, I thought to myself, you know, this is something that I really need to try on my patients as well. Because at the time, I was a registered massage therapist. Had been one for many, many years, and I was always looking for ways to help my patients and better ways to help my patients deal with their health issues. And because I dealt with a lot of lower back issues for people, and I dealt with a lot of shoulder and neck problems for people as well, I thought this might be a good addition. You know, every practitioner out there, anyone who's been in business for a while or been practicing their healing arts for a while, understands that you need to continue to learn and grow and develop your craft over time. Because guess what? You're going to be presented with different clients or patients that sometimes it's not just an easy process to help them with that back pain. Sometimes there's more involved. And so I started using the emotion code with some of my patients. And I already had about a 90% success rate. I'd been very well trained and very dedicated to helping my patients. So I had a very high success rate already with people that came to see me. But I wanted, you know, I always want to do better. There's always room for improvement, right? So when I started doing the emotion code as well, I would ask them, you know, is it okay if I, along with our other massage and other therapies, that I try this on you? And I had some patients that were very open to it. So if they were coming in with a lower back or a shoulder problem, I would ask, you know, is there some emotions that we can release that are tied into this? And if I found some, I would just delete them right away. And what I noticed was quite often was sometimes the tension around that area in their neck or their back would just start to relax a little bit. And what it did was it allowed me to actually get in there, and you know, anyone's had a good massage, that allows me to get in a little deeper, a little easier in there. So it was a great benefit to helping my clients. And then I decided I wanted to do this as part of my career. So I went to see Dr. Nelson in the States. Shortly after the book came out, I went, saw him, took his seminar. After the seminar, I told Dr. Nelson, said, I want to do more of this, and maybe I might even want to teach it one day. Well, over that time, I had taken a few seminars from him, and I got certified right away in the emotion code, and I started to use it more in my practice. And then I started to attract people to me that were just looking for emotion code work. So it worked very well into my massage practice, but it also helped to expand my horizons a little bit, and it also helped me to start to use it more just to help people just with the emotion code. And a few years later, the body code came out, and so I started doing that. So I am a certified emotion code practitioner, former instructor for Dr. Brad, but I'm also a certified body code practitioner. I'm also an international wellness consultant in energy medicine, been doing that for 25 years. So I like to merge the sort of Eastern and Western sort of medicine. So if you just joined us today, we're doing our COVID-19 minute clinic, and today we're gonna focus on any negative thoughts or feelings that you may have around COVID-19, maybe how they're affecting you, maybe family members as well. I do work on children as well, but once your child turns the age of 18, they become an adult. So without their, I would need their permission. So yes, so we're using the emotion code, and I'll show you a little bit here. This is what we call, you can see in behind me, there's the emotion code chart. I know it's a little backwards here on this screen, but I use this little handy dandy emotion code chart here when someone is saying, you know, I'm feeling some anger or frustration or resentment around COVID-19. Then I'll go in here and and through the muscle testing and the proxy, I'll identify the emotion or emotions that person may be holding on to or unprocessing, and these are in their physical body. And then we'll release them for them. We delete them with intention and using a magnet. So, so in order to volunteer, we need a couple things from you. Number one, we need, what are some of the thoughts or feelings that you have around COVID-19? You can put in the comment section here. What's the severity as well around, let me see if this works, if you can see that. Yeah, what's the severity of these thoughts or feelings around COVID-19 on a scale of 1 to 10? You know, over 5, over 6, over 7. Sometimes I've been working with some people that's been around a 9 or 10 for severity of this. So again, what's the thought or feelings you have around COVID-19? Any negative thoughts or feelings? What's the severity? From your perspective, how severe is this affecting you? And number 3, we need your permission to do the work here. Without your permission, we can't do the work for you. We need that permission. And then you can update me here about 1 minute after your session. Let me know how you're feeling. So yes, if you'd like to volunteer, just put your name here in the comment section here, and we'll do some work for you on that. So in using the emotion code, I use a 7-step process. So I start with the, as you showed you, I start with that, the emotion code chart here. And then I use what we call muscle testing. And muscle testing has been around, I started doing it in the 70s. There's lots of books written on muscle testing, by the way. Dr. John Diamond wrote about muscle testing, and for some of you, maybe you've seen this book before. It's called Power versus Force, Dr. David Hawkins. Excellent book. He talks about this is focused on human behavior, and he used actually muscle testing as well to help to determine people's level of consciousness and many other things. So again, muscle testing has been around since the early 70s. I learned from a master how to muscle test for nutritional deficiencies. So I started doing that in the early 70s. And so for example, when I would see this practitioner, he said, John, I think you need maybe some vitamin C or some vitamin D or something. And he would muscle test me to see, do I need vitamin C or vitamin D? Yes or no, yes or no. And if I needed vitamin C, for example, he could have 3 or 4 different brands there. He'd pull them all out, and he'd get me to hold it against my chest, one of the brands, and then he'd muscle test to see if I had a strong or a weak response, a strong response or a weak response to that particular product. And that's the interesting thing, because you know what? Muscle testing was just has been used for years now by many other practitioners and healers as part of their practice as well, and for determining all kinds of things. You know, you can determine whether you have a spine out of alignment. You can determine whether you have an unhappy nerve or a muscle or a joint somewhere. And most of the time, these imbalances are due to trapped emotions. And trapped emotions are emotions that these are emotions that, and we get it from the emotion code chart. These are emotions that we feel related to a certain particular person or event or situation, and we may actually hold on to that emotion. So chances are, I have a hunch that most of you are holding on to some emotions from the past. You know, you could have an emotion at 4 years old of maybe some anger to do with something to do with a parent or another kid or something, and you could feel that anger, and you may decide to hold on to that anger, or you might actually let it go. You know, the best way to deal with most emotions is to feel them, acknowledge them, and process them and let them go. But what happens is, quite often they'll get stuck in our energy field, and we are energy. Everything around you is energy. I'm energy, you're energy. This iPhone that I'm staring at here right now, that's a form of energy as well. So everything is some form of energy. And energy is either it's moving or it's not moving. Energy is either vibrating at a high frequency or a low frequency. So if you're feeling some joy or happiness around something, guess what? You're raising your vibration. You know what? If you're feeling down too, there's something you can do. Very simple. If you just smile and keep smiling and keep smiling, and even sometimes people say smile and look up, you know, you'll notice after a minute or so of doing that, you're going to actually feel a little bit better. So it's important for us to vibrate at higher frequencies if we want to stay healthy, if we want to stay happy and productive. We need to vibrate at these higher frequencies whenever possible. So what happens is, when we trap these emotions, again, they cause interferences in our energy field or distortions. And sometimes they're caught up in a sphere of energy, each emotion. And imagine if you had 5 or 6 emotions up that are all caught up in this side of your shoulder, and they're all pushing up against your neck. Well, that could lead to neck problems or other things as well. So these emotions not just affect you emotionally, but they will affect you physically as well. So we use the emotion code chart, we use muscle testing, and then we use what we call proxy. And proxy, got these cards backward. Now you should be able to see them frontwards here. Proxy is when I'm able to move my subconscious mind out of the way and connect to your subconscious. And once I'm connected to your subconscious, and this is an energetic connection, then I can start to ask questions of your subconscious mind. And, you know, is there an emotion or is there something that we can release for you related to COVID-19? And so we're asking yes or no questions. So we're going through the body to talk to the mind. And it's kind of like a lie detector in a sense, yes or no. So for a yes response in muscle testing, it's fairly strong. For a weak response, so I use a ring and ring. I used to use the sway test, the whole body, going forward for a yes, going backwards for a no. That was a sway test. That's the first one I learned many, many years ago. And that's what I started to use for food or nutrition, testing them to see if they were good. And then I started to use other tests. But right now, for working with my clients, I use what's called a ring and ring. So you make 2 rings here, put them together. And when you ask a yes or no question, they're either going to hold or they're going to give. So, example, my name is John, and I'm getting a strong response. My name is Bob. My name is Bob. My name is John. Show me a yes. That's a strong response. Show me a no. That's a weak response. So that's how we use muscle testing to access your subconscious mind. So if you just joined us here, COVID-19 Minute Clinic here, any negative thoughts or feelings around COVID-19, we're here to help you delete them, identify them, and delete them within minutes. So yes, so let's talk a little bit about the subconscious mind for a second. We have our conscious mind and we have our subconscious mind. And as far as we know now, and it changes over time, our conscious mind is about maybe 5 to 10% of our mind altogether. And our subconscious mind is about 90 to 95% of our mind. So that's important. Why? It's because our subconscious mind knows everything about us. It remembers everything, every experience, every thought, everything we've touched, felt, tasted in our whole life experience. It's all recorded in our subconscious mind. And we can't always bring them into conscious awareness. You know, I might not remember what happened when I was 6, something that may have happened to me, but my subconscious will know. So all that, it's like your story is stored in your subconscious mind, so to speak. And that determines your overall physical health, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual health. It also determines your ability to have healthy relationships, your ability to have success in life, your ability to be more creative. A lot of these things, they're controlled by our subconscious way of thoughts. And again, it's the way we act, behave, respond. A lot of that, it's learned behavior, and that's in our subconscious mind. So I'll give you a quick example. You're going to go to the store to get some groceries. Talking about the conscious mind, you get in your car, you get out, you drive out of the driveway, you know you got to go left, go up a couple blocks, you know you go right, a block or two, and then you go left into the parking lot, and there you are, you're sitting in front of the store in your car, you're sitting there, and here I am at the store, let's go grocery shopping. Although nowadays, and we have to wait in our lineups now quite often, which I totally agree with right now. We need to take care of ourselves right now and protect others. So then the next time you go to the grocery store, you say, I got to go to the grocery store, get some groceries. You get in your car, you drive to the grocery store, you get to the grocery store, you're sitting there in your car, and then you're thinking to yourself, how did I get here? My mind was in a whole other place. I wasn't even thinking about this. I was thinking about next week and the barbecue or whatever. But no, I got in my car and I drove to the store. How does that happen? That's the subconscious mind. That's where your patterns are, your behaviors. So you've been over that route so many times, the subconscious mind now, it's locked into your subconscious. You can just get in your car and just drive there hardly without thinking. Would I suggest that? No. Pay attention. But that's how it happens. If anyone's experienced that before, that's how it happens. That's your subconscious mind. And that's what we're working with. So when we're looking to delete any negative thoughts or emotions around COVID-19, we're identifying the emotion or the thought. We're using muscle testing to make sure we have that thought, the exact one off our chart. Sometimes there's more than one. Sometimes there can be 3 or 4 or more negative emotions around this. And then we, as proxy work, I'm standing in for you as proxy. So I'm moving my subconscious out of the way. I'm connecting to yours, and I'm muscle testing for your subconscious to get to the answers for you. And then, of course, we need your permission, and that is so important. We need your permission here. Does that work? Yeah, your permission before we can do the work on you. And then how do we release those negative emotions or thoughts or feelings? Once we've identified them, we use a magnet. We use a magnet to release those negative thoughts or emotions. And I use this particular magnet here. This is a Nikan magnet. I've been a member of Nikan for many years, health and wellness, not many. And we take this magnet, and using intention and the magnetic energy, we run it over our central governing meridian at least, usually on average about 3 times for most emotions, it takes at least 3 times of running that magnet to delete it from your energy field. And that central governing meridian is connected to your whole body, your whole energy field. So that's how we delete these emotions. If it's an inherited emotion, and these are emotions that we can receive from our mother or father, this is at the moment of conception. We can get emotions from our mother or father. And we've all inherited emotions from our mothers and fathers at the time of conception. So guess what? When we're conceived, the moment we're conceived, we're already starting to develop some baggage. And right after birth, we're coming into the world with some baggage. And I've yet to find anyone who has not inherited an emotion. I've never come across anyone who's come into life without any baggage. And I've worked on a wide range of clients over many years. My youngest clients are, a few of them I've worked on, they're actually in the womb. And I'm working through the mother's permission. I'm actually testing them and working on them. So we're clearing some of this stuff while they're even in the womb. And I've done work on kids, 1 or 2 years old or 6 months old, that help them delete some of these negative emotions as well. And it's amazing what happens to these children, how much healthier they are. It seemed to be a lot more happier, a lot more balanced. So I've worked on children. I mostly work on adults, of course, and I think my oldest client, she was 106 or 107, and she was had a very difficult life, and she didn't want to pass on with all this angst or all this baggage. So we cleared a bunch of that for her, and as far as I know, she's still around. I haven't talked to her now for over a year, but she sure felt a lot better after that. So if you just joined us, we're doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic. I'm looking for 2 volunteers here today that I can work on. Any negative thoughts or feelings on COVID-19, we're here to help you delete those using the emotion code program. And I'll just share a couple of things. We worked on a lady the other day who was feeling some negative emotions, and this was a bit tied into the COVID-19. I did something else for her, which I do as well, using the body code program, because remember, I'm a body code practitioner. That's the master program. The emotion code is the major program. Why? Because that's where we spend a lot of our time. So most of us will start with the emotion code, and then we'll move into the body code. So I was actually checking her immune system as well. So if anyone here would like your immune system tested as well for functioning, just put in the comment section below, and we'll test, with your permission, we'll test that for you. So we tested her immune system. It was running around 82%. So we asked her subconscious, why? What's going on here? Why is it only running at 82%? Remember, the subconscious knows everything about you. And it told us that there was a couple of emotions there that were affecting her immune system. So remember, these trapped emotions can not only lower our vibration, but they can also lower or depress our immune system. Imagine being depressed, and especially being depressed for a long time. If you're depressed or you're feeling depression, guess what? Your whole system is depressed, right? If you're feeling some anger, your whole system is vibrating at that anger. Again, these are emotions that are in our energy field. So anyways, her immune system was running at 82%. We found 2 emotions there. One was dread. And I think it was something around COVID-19, that one was. And then there was one of conflict as well. And so we released both the emotions for her. It only took a minute or so to release these. And her immune system from there went from 82% to 96%. So these emotions can affect your immune system. And during COVID-19, what do we want? What's our best defense against COVID-19? Besides washing our hands, wearing gloves or masks, and being careful about getting too close, it's our immune system. Our immune system is our first line of defense against these viruses and bacteria. So if you have a healthy immune system, chances are you have a less chance of getting things like this or attracting things like this. And if you have a healthy immune system, if you get a cold or a flu, quite often you can overcome them. Very seldom do I get anything like that, but if I feel something coming on, right away I just check, is there, how's my immune system running? Can I boost it up? Also, I may check to see, do I need some extra vitamin C or D? Or are there any emotions I can release that are impacting my immune system? And quite often I'm able to delay or just completely eliminate the whole idea of, getting sick. Because again, what runs your body? Anyone know? Does your body run your mind? Or does your mind run your body? Yeah, it's the mind that runs the body. So we need to get that clear, and that we need to have healthy thoughts to be healthy as well. So we've got one volunteer here. Her name is Linda Gem. Hello, Linda. Welcome to our call here today. And Linda, I'm just going to make a few notes here. I like to make notes when I work on people. I make lots of notes. So keep things straight. So Linda Gem is volunteering today, and she says some fear around COVID-19. She's feeling some fear around there. She said it's about a 6 out of 10 for severity. So about a 6 out of 10 for severity. So with your permission, Linda, then, we have your permission. We're going to do a little work for you here. And so again, I'm going to show you how this works here for everyone watching and for Linda as well. So before we start, I want to make sure that I'm testable. And so my name is, and I do a baseline. The baseline test is usually testing for your name, because your subconscious is always going to say, yeah, that is your name. If you give yourself a different name, your subconscious is going to say, no, that's not it. So am I John? Yes. Am I Bob? No. Show me a yes. A yes is a strong, a no is a weak response. Am I hydrated enough here to work on, Linda? No. So you see, I just had to check for hydration. I'm just going to have a little sip here, and I drink structured water as well. And for many years, it's very highly absorbable, high vibrational water. So am I hydrated enough here to work on, Linda? Yes, I am. So now, Linda, I am going to do what we call proxy here. So I'm going to move my subconscious out of the way and connect to your subconscious. And so while we're connected energetically, whatever I'm testing here will be of your subconscious, Linda. So let me ask, so I have your permission. Can I act as a proxy here for Linda Gem? Yes, I can. Do I have a good connection with Linda? Yes, I do. My name is Linda. Yes, my name is John. No. Am I Linda? Yes. Am I John? No. So you see, I'm testing yes for your name right now, which means now when I ask some questions, yes or no, for yes or no answers, it's going to be of your subconscious. Maybe some of you have heard of surrogate work. It's almost like surrogate, standing in for someone else. It's similar to that. So, am I Linda? Yes. So, can we test, is there anything we can release for you? You're feeling this fear around COVID-19. You say it's about a 6 out of 10 for severity. Is there something that we can release for you around this whole thing, around fear and this COVID-19? Is there something we can release for you around that? And I'm getting a yes. So is it emotional? And I'm getting a yes like that. So it is emotional. Remember, most of the time it is emotional, emotions that affect us. At least 80% of the time or more, it's emotions. So I'm going to ask, how many emotions are we talking about for you, Linda? There's actually 2 of them. 1, 2, there's 2 of them. So this is when I bring out my chart here, my emotion code chart. And you can see the big chart in behind me here. And you see, I know it's backwards here, but it's in 2 columns, column A, column B, and 6 different rows. And there's 5 emotions in each little box there. So I'm going to ask, there's 2 emotions here for you, Linda. So are any of them in column A? Yes. Are they both in column A? Yes. So both of them are in column A. And this is to do with COVID-19. So are any in row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5? So row 5, there's emotions. They're both actually in row 5. And row 5 is the kidney bladder row. And here's the interesting thing. These emotions are generated by different organs or glands, and they end up in different parts of our body. So for example, Row 5 is kidney bladder. Kidneys have a connection to your upper back, your neck, your jaw. They also have a connection to your lower back and your core muscles. And bladder connects to all the muscles that start at the base of your spine and move all the way up to the base of your neck, and also connect to your lower leg muscles. So these organs and glands that generate these emotions are also connected to different places in our body. So you could have, for example, a problem in your back somewhere, and it could be due to an emotion that's been generated by your kidney, and it's just caught up somewhere in there. So there's 2 emotions, and they're row 5. So which ones are there? I'm going to ask, is it blaming? One of them is dread. Interesting. The other one, it's fear. So yes, definitely you're right there on that one, Linda. Fear is one of the emotions showing up. Remember, your subconscious knows the truth, knows the emotions. So are any others in column A or column B? No. So dread and fear are the 2 emotions that you're feeling around this COVID-19. And I'm going to ask your subconscious, remember, because it knows everything about you. What's the severity of this dread or fear, these emotions around COVID-19 on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 is very severe. Is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? It's about a 9 out of 10. So your subconscious is telling us, Linda, it's about a 9 out of 10. And you mentioned a 6, and that's getting up there, but the subconscious knows everything, so it's telling us it's about a 9 out of 10. With these emotions too, we may feel the emotion. Sometimes we feel the emotion and we don't express it. Sometimes we feel the emotion and it just sits there. Have you ever been angry at someone? I remember getting angry at someone. It was a number of years ago. It was the first time I was aware of this. I think it was my brother, actually, when we were kids, and I was really angry at him for doing something. And where did I feel it? I felt that in my body. Anyone feel that? When you feel those emotions, you feel them in your body. These are feelings that we have. Yeah, it wasn't a nice feeling. And so when we have these emotions and we hold on to them, guess what? They're affecting how we feel as well. So dread and fear on a scale of 9 out of 10 for severity. So I'm going to ask, do we need to know more in order to release these emotions for you? No, we don't. And I'm going to ask, are they your own emotions? Yes, they are. Are they picked up from or absorbed from someone else? Are they shared with someone else? No. Are they psychic trauma emotions or trauma energies? No. Or vibrational resonance emotions are hidden? Yeah, they're both hidden as well. Interesting. There's dread and there's fear, and then there's hidden dread. There's more dread hiding in there and more fear hiding in there. But guess what? Once it's hiding and we know that it's hiding, we call it out. It has to show itself. So these emotions bubble up from the subconscious, come into our conscious awareness, and that's when we delete them. So again, can we release both of them at the same time? No, one at a time. So we're going to release the first one we're going to release for you, Linda, is the emotion of dread. Remember, we're running the magnet on the central governing meridian to release that. And just to cover our bases, there's some hidden dread there as well. We want to delete that for you as well. And I'm just going to make some assumptions, some shared and absorbed and psychic traumas and trauma energies and even vibrational resonances of dread. And I'm going to have you take a nice breath on that one, Linda. It's important after we release any emotions or thoughts or beliefs for you that you breathe afterwards. It helps with the releasing. Remember, your body has to process it. The subconscious processes it right away, but the body takes a little while to process. So did release that dread to 100%. Yes. So now the next one was fear. So let's release that fear for you. Remember, fear can affect your liver or gallbladder, or your kidneys, your bladder. And we're going to release that fear for you. And there's some hidden fear for you here, Linda, around this. And just to cover our bases, some absorbed and shared fear and some psychic traumas and trauma energies and vibrational resonance of fear. And take a big breath on that one. And did release that dread for you? Yes, to 100%. Yes. And did release that fear for you here, Linda? Yes, to 100% released. So now, what's the severity now of this issue for you, this fear, this feelings around COVID-19 on a scale of 1 to 10? Is it a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0? It's down to a 0. And that's what we want to do when I'm working on someone, whether it's COVID-19 thoughts or feelings, or whether it's we're doing with chronic pain or seasonal allergies, or releasing some kind of food or drink addiction. We want to get the severity down to a 0 whenever we can. Sometimes we'll get it down to a 0, and then maybe on some other session, maybe there's another little layer that comes up that we need to go at. But right now it's down to a 0, so if you can just wait a minute or so, update me here, Linda, as to how you're feeling around this with our release. So once these emotions are released, they're gone and gone from your energy field, okay? Again, it may take a day or so for the body sometimes to process the emotion. It has to go through your body. Sometimes it goes through very quickly. Sometimes it takes a little bit. That's why it's important to drink lots of water. It's very important to drink lots of water when you're processing the emotions, and be kind to yourself, okay? So thank you, Linda, for volunteering here. That was Linda. And we're looking for another volunteer here today for any negative thoughts or feeling around COVID-19. I'm here to help you identify them and delete them on your behalf so you can feel a little happier, a little healthier, a little better. Share another story with you. I was working on this other woman. She was feeling, she was upset because she wasn't able, hang on to me, I'm just going to get rid of this here. Hang on. Sorry about that. She was feeling some stress around the fact that she couldn't get on a plane and go visit some of her friends or family members. Anyone have that experience here? You know, not being able to see, hang out with some friends or family members during COVID-19. I know it's not a pleasant thing to do. So she was feeling a lot of stress around this. So she asked me if I could maybe help her out. So what we did was we found two emotions there around this whole issue here. And one of them was sadness, feeling some sadness. And sadness tends to get generated by your lungs or your colon. So we want to keep our lungs very healthy, especially now with COVID. We want to keep our lungs happy, right? And the best way to do that is get rid of these negative emotions. So she was feeling some sadness, and she was feeling some overwhelmed around this whole situation, not being able to get on a plane or go visit family right now. So we released those two emotions for her. And then we didn't quite get it down to a 0, so we asked, is there something else there? Because we want to get it down to a 0 whenever possible. She also had some, what we call psychic trauma emotions tied into this. And psychic trauma emotions were discovered after 9/11 by Dr. Nelson. And psychic trauma emotions are when we feel more than one emotion at the same time. And remember, when we trap an emotion, it gets caught up in a sphere of energy. And so psychic trauma emotions are when we feel more than one emotion simultaneously. It all gets caught up in one sphere. And just a shout out here to Carly. Hi, Carly. Nice to see you. Carly is the organizer of the Holistic Market here in Kelowna. I've been involved with that for a few years, having a booth there once a month, and she does a great job. Hi, Carly. Welcome here. And I see that Linda is saying that her heart and chest area is feeling a little bit lighter. Again, these emotions that released for her, some of them were causing this stress in her system. So her heart and her chest area is just feeling a little bit lighter. Big thanks. So you see, how long did that take? Really, it only took a minute or two to do that. So I was talking about this lady who was not able to travel to see her family. So we found 3 psychic trauma emotions there. And sadness was also part of this overwhelmed, and shock were all caught up together in one severe as well. So there was not only sadness and overwhelm that we released, but there was sadness, overwhelm, and shock in one big sphere that we released as well. And we released that for her. She said she felt much better, much lighter, and just for curiosity reasons, we decided, let's check how was your immune system before we actually did this release. It was running at about 84%, you know, which most people will be very happy with. After we did those couple of releases, her immune system was running at 98%. So do these emotions impact you? Absolutely, in so many different ways. So it just shows you that that subconscious mind knows what's going on, and when we can access it and follow our programs here, we can help people feel a little better, a little happier, a little healthier. And a shout out here to, is it Halia from Iceland. Nice to see you. Welcome. I think you've been on our calls here before. So yeah, if you just joined us, we're doing our COVID-19 minute clinic here. We're looking for another volunteer who would like us to check with your subconscious if there's any negative thoughts or feelings that you might have to do with COVID-19. Just put it in the comment section here. And the severity of this negative thoughts, maybe it's some anger, maybe it's you're feeling a 7 or an 8 out of 10. You can't get back to work, or maybe you're not able to, you know, just go to the beach and relax like you normally would. Whatever it is, we're looking to delete these emotions for you. So yes, so here's another one. This lady had an interesting thing when I was working on this lady. She said she was watching the news a lot. Anyone here watching the news lots? Yeah. I've cut back on watching the news now. I might watch it maybe once a day. I used to watch it a couple times a day now. And if I'm feeling any negative emotions when I watch the news about anything I'm seeing or on the news, I can quickly check myself, and if there's 1 or 2 there, I can just delete them right away. So I don't have to hold on to them and carry them. Because remember, some of these emotions we've carried for years and years in our energy field. So with this particular woman, she'd watch the news, and after a while she'd get an upset tummy. And then if she got really stressed, she would break out in a rash on her hands and feet. Again, stress shows up in so many different ways in our lives. So what we found 5 different emotions there. Anxiety was one of them. Despair was another one. Nervousness, worry, and grief. These were emotions that she was holding on to or unprocessing, and they were all tied into this COVID-19, watching the news and getting stressed and causing that upset tummy. Remember, they come out as physical manifestations. So we released all of those for her, and her severity was about it was about a 9 out of 10 for this. Watching the news, we got it down to a 1. Now remember, I said, what do we want to do? We want to get it down to a 0. So we got it down to a 1. And I thought, okay, it's down to a 1. Is there something else there that we need to release? And what came up was what we call a trauma energy. Now, trauma energy is a little bit different than a trapped emotion, and that comes off of our trauma energy chart here. You can see there's all these different trauma energies on here. And I know it's backwards right now. You can't read it. But things like parental approval, hurt feelings, loss of pride, aggravation, dislike of self, feeling abandoned, feeling rejected. These are what we call trauma energies. So they're a little bit different than trapped emotions, but they do impact us the same way. So we found a trauma energy here of apprehension. Anyone feeling any apprehension to do with COVID-19? I know I have at times. So we found this trauma energy of apprehension as well that was underlying this this stress. So we released that for her. We got it down to a 0. So she was reported that she felt much better afterwards. So again, these emotions impact us in so many different ways. They impact our physical health. They impact our mental health, our emotional health, or even our spiritual health. I sometimes work on a lot of other healers, And a lot of them are very spiritually minded, and I do a lot of work on them as well. And what I find is, for a lot of them, most people like myself that are in the healing arts are what we call empaths. And empaths are people that can feel other people's energies or emotions. Sometimes, I know when I was doing massage, I was working on someone in their, let's say in their hip area or something, and then I get a little bit of an ache in my hips sometimes. You know what? That's what happens with empaths. We're very sensitive, and that's what makes us good healers or in the healing arts, but at the same time, we have to protect ourselves. So I learned years ago from a native medicine man who is a friend and mentor of mine, who showed me how to get rid of some of that stuff. And that was before the emotion code came into my life, but I learned how to protect myself a little bit when I'm working on people. So when we're empaths, we pick up on other people's stuff so easily, and it affects us. So if you're an empath and you're watching the news, or you're seeing all this stuff going on COVID-19, some of you, I know you're hurting in your heart as well. Because why? Because you're in the healing arts, because you want to help other people. But as healers, we have to help ourselves. So maybe I should do a minute clinic here just for healers alone. I'm thinking maybe I should do that as well. So if you just joined us again, we're doing our COVID-19 minute clinic here. This was for the month of May, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 a.m. Our next one coming up here is this Friday. This will be right now the last in the series of the COVID-19, coming up here this Friday. If there's definitely people want me to continue with that, we can do that, continue with that. We'll be moving into dealing with chronic pain, underlying causes of chronic pain. That's where we're going in our next sessions here. Will be chronic pain, and then we'll be looking at food and drink addictions and maybe seasonal allergies. So stay tuned for that. So you can go to visionshealing.com, my website, and get some more information if you like. You can also join the Facebook group, facebook.com, Visions Healing. If you like to be updated on what's coming up here, I've got a number of things coming up. But our next series will be on chronic pain. How to delete, eliminate, reduce, or eliminate chronic pain within minutes using the emotion code. So that's what's coming up for us. Again, if you just joined us today, feel free to tag some of your friends for our next upcoming COVID-19. And I want to thank the people that volunteered here today as well, because that's when you get to see how it actually works. When we have volunteers stepping up to the plate, not only are they going to feel better, but you'll see how this actually works. Because most of the time when I'm doing my work, probably 90% or more is working with people by proxy. I've worked with people in Canada, US, Hong Kong, Brazil, Portugal, Germany, Switzerland. I've worked with clients all over the world. And this is because this is energy healing. So you don't have to be in the same place, in the same room to do this work. That's what's fascinating. So I'm going to offer a little quick bonus here. If someone that I haven't worked on here today would like me to check their immune system, just put down in the comment section here your name, and yes, check my immune system for functioning. And then I'll go in and I'll have a quick check of your immune system, see how well you're doing. And then we'll find out if it's not functioning where it needs to be. Let's find out, ask your subconscious why this is happening. And we'll go in and try to correct that for you. So if you'd like to volunteer to have your immune system checked, just put in the comments here below. And give us your name and permission to do that. I was also working on another lady here who was feeling a lot of stress with COVID-19 and this was from not hanging out with her friends, not doing the things she normally does, going out for dinner and doing this and different things with their friends. So she was feeling a lot of stress and angst around that. So we checked the severity of this whole issue for her. It was a 9 out of 10. And so we found, 4 emotions here. We found forlorn as one emotion. That means to feel sad, miserable, or lonely. We felt worry, some worry around that. We felt some longing to be hanging out with her friends and going out for dinner and doing whatever. And then she felt a little bit unsupported as well around that. And it's interesting, I work with a lot of women, probably about 90% of my clients are women for some reason, but unsupported comes up a lot for women as a trapped emotion. Feeling unsupported on some level, that's a common one. And it usually can lead to especially problems in your lower back or hips or legs sometimes as well, that one. So that one does come up. So forlorn, worry, longing, and unsupported were the emotions she was feeling around just not being able to be around her friends and, go out for dinner, have barbecues, have some fun, whatever. So once we released that, the severity went from a 9 down to a 0, big 0. So imagine if I can do this in 1 minute, what could I do in 25 or 30 minutes? Because if you decide to hire me to work on some issues for you, I work in a 25 to 30 minute time frame. And quite often I can delete or get rid of sometimes 2 or 3 different issues in one 25, 30 minute session. So for example, if you go to my visionshealing.com, you'll see this is my session list, body code, emotion code session list, and there's a number of things on here, things I've had extreme success in helping people over the years. Aching wrists, fingers, and hands, jealousy, feeling unmotivated, feeling stuck. Anyone here feeling a little stuck or unmotivated? Blocks to health, blocks to creativity, negative self-talk, back pain, neck pain, digestive problems, breathing issues, headaches, limiting beliefs about weight loss. Matter of fact, if you go to my website, I actually have a program just specifically for weight loss, for getting your mind in the right place so that you can actually lose weight and create that healthy body that most of us desire, So I do things on weight loss, and I also work with businesses. Upcoming here, I've got a 6-session business course coming up here. This will be for business owners and entrepreneurs coming up here in the month of June. Watch for that. And this will be 6 sessions. These are 6 10 to 15 minute sessions. So once a week, a 10 or 15 minute section for 6 weeks. And it's all around business blocks to success, procrastination, that's a big one. What's stopping, blocking you, preventing you from maybe taking your business to the next level or contacting your clients, whatever it might be. So we'll be doing some work with business owners and entrepreneurs as well. So yes, go to my website if you'd like to find out more, visionshealing.com. You're welcome to join us again on Friday. If you're on today and we did some work, or a couple of series before we did some work, you're welcome to give us a little update as to how you're doing. And that way we can share that with some of our viewers as well. So again, thanks for joining us here today. I will be back on Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon. Again, be sure to tag some friends, come along, and welcome to everyone that was here today. We will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.